Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to Stories of Creating Impact, um, co creating. Sorry, I'm forgetting the line only. So, co creating transformation with InnerMost Shift Coaching. Today, we have with us Anish Rakheja, who is a masterful coach, and he has really taken in the concepts of InnerMost Shift coaches as taught by Alpha Stars, and he's really inculcated in his life so very well. Of course, we'll hear about it more from him. He's an IIT pass out, an MBA. I don't know how many years ago he said, and then he has a work experience for 25 years working in different industries. On top of that, on over more than 8 years, he has been on his own on the advisory board of multiple startups in different industries like hospitality, education, and healthcare. He has taken up career mentoring for 7 years and really mentors many, many individuals on what is best for their career. Taking that same stream further ahead, he started his coaching journey around a year and a half, 2 years ago, and formalized it a little bit more with Alpha Stars coaching of InnerMost Shift uh, coaching. And he established his own company called Crescon Coaches. Of course, he'll tell us more about it. What we all at Alpha Stars and even the other students found so amazing was that he has been teaching Bhagavad Gita for many, many years, and he does live sessions every Sunday for the last 2 years. So, hi Anish, welcome to this journey, and
High
do let us know
prosperity.
more
Thank you
about.
very much.
Thank you. So, do let us know more about yourself and how does the Crescon coaches coming to be?
Sure. Prosperity on the first question, I think you've said more than I could have said anything more about it. So myself, I think we have covered it quite a lot. So with your permission, let me start with the second question that you asked about Crescon.
Yeah.
So prosperity, Crescon, the word itself, it's a word that we created. It's not a word you'll find in the dictionary. So it's made up of two words called Cresco and consciousness. So
Ah,
Cresco
okay.
means to grow.
Hmm.
So it's to grow with consciousness. That's what Crescon stands for.
Okay.
Okay, so due to my Bhagavad Gita connection, many people think that it's Krishna consciousness. That's how Crescon comes. Uh, but in all fairness, this is to grow with consciousness, and that's what Crescon Coaches is all about:
Hmm.
prosperity.
Okay.
So when we started this setup, so there were three words that we look at in Crescon: leadership, legacy, and legend. And
Leadership,
all our
legacy, and legend. Okay.
legend. Okay, so all our endeavor is around these three words. So even if you look at the purpose that we have defined for Crescon, it's called creating legends.
Okay.
Okay, and who is a legend? So, what we believe is a person who leaves a meaningful legacy behind is a legend.
Okay.
So, look at any legends around, they would all have a legacy, create a
Hmm.
meaningful legacy. And what are the attributes or what are the skills required to embark on the legacy creation journey? Those are the leadership skills, what we call the servant leadership. So that's how the leadership skill development, so that's a leadership grooming. Once you're ready to a particular stage, then you start your legacy creation process. The day that you're able to create your legacy, you become a legend. So we help in transforming leaders into legends. That's what we are into.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. That you said it very beautifully, and that it's about growing consciously. Crescon is actually about growing consciously. Uh, so, how does this help you? Like your entire journey of career coaching or Bhagavad Gita, everything put together, or your vast experience that you have behind you for your
Mhm.
industry. Uh, how does this help you to make people conscious of the fact that conscious growing is very much necessary?
Okay. Uh, Prosperity, few things here. Few points that I would like to share based on the question that you've put up. Number one, we strongly believe that every person has a potential to become a legend.
Mhm.
Okay, that belief we hold very strongly in us. So, all the coaches that are with Crescon, all of us, that's one belief we have. The point is to make people aware that the life journey is not about a business or a profession, it's about creating a legacy.
Okay.
Legacy, prosperity is our identity.
Uh-huh.
That's a calling card that keeps us alive years after we are no more in our mortal form. It's a legacy that keeps on living.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes a person legend. So
Okay.
even if we are doing anything, any step that we are taking, whether we are doing a business or we are working, doing a service, the thought should be on what is the legacy that I'm creating. It changes the paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
When the focus shifts from a work, a business to a legacy. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
differentiates a person from a legend. And that's the awareness that we are creating, we are trying our best to create through Crescon Coaches. So even if you look at, you mentioned about Bhagavad Gita, it's something very close to my heart. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Krishna was the first coach you would ever find, the way he coached Arjuna. He was a true
Mm-hmm.
coach.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole intent of coaching was around making Arjuna aware about who he truly was.
Mm.
And that awareness is what transformed Arjun from a leader to a legend.
Right.
That's it's that powerful. And that's the message that we want to
Okay.
share with everyone, prosperity.
So I'll stay a little bit to what you said right towards the end. Um, how do you make people aware of who they truly are? Because, like you said, that's what took Arjuna from being who he was to becoming a legend, right?
Correct.
So, how do you connect people to their beingness?
Okay. So that's a journey. I'll share with you a program that we run.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a Pinnacle program.
Mm.
It's a leadership grooming program. Now, to see Arjuna was a leader. He was not a legend. Before the war happened, he was not a legend, he was a leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's the awareness that came into him, transformed him from a leader to a legend. But now look at it. Bhagavad Gita was given to Arjun, not to Duryodhan. If you read Mahabharata, who was at fault? Fault was with Duryodhan.
Yeah,
So, I mean, a very interesting question comes in. If Bhagavad Gita was to be given, it should have been given to Duryodhan because he was the one who was to be corrected, not Arjuna.
right.
But then the difference was that Arjuna was ready.
Absolutely.
He was in a position ready to listen to the concept of Bhagavad Gita because he had reached a stage where his transformation from a leader to a legend could
Mm-hmm.
happen. That means there is a prerequisite before even you can start embark on your legacy creation process. There is a stage that you need to reach to, and that stage
Right.
is to be there at a leadership, to be there as a leader, as a true leader. So the first thing that we do is there is a leadership grooming program that we run. It's
Uh-huh.
called the Pinnacle, which is
Right.
a preparatory program. It goes for 6 to 7 months. It's not a short program, it's not a capsule or anything. So it's a 7 months of a program where we take in the concepts from our Vedant,
Mm-hmm.
from our Eastern wisdom, as well as the Western rigor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we combine these two, okay, and we take the people through this self awareness journey for 6 to 7 months. And when a person reaches to that level, to that pinnacle of leadership thinking, that's the point where he's ready to be transformed into a legend. And during those 7 months of period, that's where there are a lot of changes that a person starts feeling, and he's actually seeing those in action. The whole thought process changes. It's not that the being changes because he tried. Now it's where he's discovering himself. He's finding himself. It's the divinity that's there inside us that starts coming out, that start manifesting. So the
Mhm.
journey is we need to manifest the divinity that's already there within us. The
Right.
manifestation has not happened. And that's where on this journey that manifestation take place of the divinity which is already there within us.
So that is something very beautiful that you are saying. Couple of things that you said is one, you said Arjun was ready. Arjun
Correct.
was at a place where he was ready to accept what he was, and he was also ready to take the journey forward. Okay.
Correct.
Also, that it's not a capsule. It's a 6 to 7 months long process. And sometimes I honestly believe it's a longer process because you really have to work on yourself as well. Uh, and we always say, as coaches, that coaching is not for everyone. It's not like every person who's on the street, every person that you meet, you have to fix everybody. It's not a fixation. It's not a capsule that's going to fix everybody. It's actually about helping those who are ready to help themselves, who are ready to accept that some kind of work needs to be done within them and not around them. Some work has to be
Mhm.
done within them so that they can move forward and upwards in their journey. Okay. When you did InnerMost Shift coaching, how did this make you realize that this is the journey onwards that you wanted to take? Because you did mention in our conversations earlier that your training has helped you realize your own goals and your own vision. So, how did this help you understand this?
Sure. Sure. Prosperity, a beautiful question, and something which is uh, pretty close to my heart. My own journey with the innermost shift that started. So that's something which is very, very, very dear to me. So what happened was before the journey. So there are a lot of thoughts that comes to your mind. So I was not familiar with the whole concept of coaching. Obviously, we've heard about Tony Robbins, we've heard about Robin Sharma, we've heard about a lot of people there. But then it's something which we have only heard about it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
I never realized the power, okay, to use coaching as the transformative technique, I would say, okay, as an intervention. I never could have imagined that before this journey happened. So I was not aware of that. So there are a lot of when I was doing mentoring, there were many situations that would come in where mentoring would seem inadequate.
Right.
Okay. So, and I used to be at a fix, okay, what this is all about. Even my self journey, there were a lot of questions which were there where I was looking at how do I do my own reflections on that. So, if I
Mhm.
have someone, I never knew there's something called a coach
Mm.
who can help me in that. So, when I
Mm.
went through my own training with the Innermost Shift,
Right.
that actually made me realize or helped me realize my own how it helped me to clear my own doubts, and also I could now have a technique that what I used to feel constrained by just the mentoring process, now coaching became a very important aspect for me to bring in transformation in other people's journey at any age and stage. Okay, because the
Okay.
way that I was taught by No Shift, it's 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 like the fabric of coaching. It's not the tools and techniques or you need to use a particular module to do that. It's the fabric of coaching itself, what that is made up of. So once you
Mhm.
grasp that, what you create out of it is up to you.
Mhm.
Once you understand the core
Right.
and the focus of innermost shift coaching throughout in every module with Sri Ma'am Satsar was not in terms of giving us the theoretical understanding. It was going to the core, what exactly is coaching all about? Okay, and then you develop your own methodologies, own ways, own signature style, do whatever you want to do, but at in essence what coaching is, and that was something so powerful I got from this training with innermost shift. And that's something which I carry till today. So
Mhm.
the manuals that were given to us, the initial pages of the manuals where it talks about the whole concept of coaching, I don't know how many times I would have read those. Okay. It's not the module, the tools, but it's the essence.
Right.
That's wonderful in
Right.
prosperity.
And that's what I had mentioned earlier as well. When you did the training, you really grasped the essence of it very, very fast. Okay. I would love to hear from you. Uh, what what in your view is the fabric of coaching, as you said it? Wh-
Okay. Uh, in a very simple word, prosperity, coaching is just a speaking mirror.
Mhm.
Okay. These two words to me, what coaching defines. You're there as a mirror.
Mm,
Okay. And your presence should not be anything more than a mirror.
right.
Nothing, you cannot be. It's the focus is you are there because mirror can never ever be judgmental. This is not possible for mirror. Mirror would show what it is without any biasness.
Right.
And you can't hide yourself from a mirror.
Absolutely.
So, and it would show without, uh, and I'm talking not one of those mirrors that you get where the distortions can happen. So,
So built-in filters in the mirror. Let's not have the built-in filters.
well, that would be an interesting way to do coaching.
Right? Yeah.
So, if one understands that the journey of, or let's say, position of a coach, okay, what the role, position that a coach has,
Hmm.
okay, it's rest, it's very easy. So, like we talk about the NLP, where you're trying to copy the expressions, or let's say you're trying to copy the gestures there.
Yeah.
Everything is to see yourself as a mirror. It will
Yeah.
automatically happen. Everything would happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And
So
you don't need to say anything. When you are saying what you're doing, you are in a way echoing what the coachee is saying to ensure that he listens back to what really happened. And mirror would listen to you, but it will not listen to you. It's not going to go anywhere.
yeah, we just need a video based mirror now instead of the still mirror. So it can listen, it can mirror, it can match, it can do everything.
That's a
So
smart
yeah.
mirror
Yeah, smart mirror without the filters.
without the filters. Correct. So that's what I believe in prosperity. And in jokes apart, seriously, that's what we practice here in Crescon. So even whatever the within the coaches, okay, so whatever that we interact, we look at how we can be there like a true mirror, like a true reflection of the coachee.
Right,
That's where the whole practice happens.
right. So one is, of course, being a mirror without judging, without um, forming any kind of an opinion about the other person, just reflecting back, or I would rather say, help the person become just aware of what is actually going on within the
Correct.
person, right?
Correct.
What role do you think the questioning that we do? Of course, the presence plays a big role, right? So there is present and then there is questions. How would you combine everything?
You reminded me of something. When I started my coaching journey, if and when I had not much of an idea what coaching is all about, I used to ask a lot of questions. It was less of coaching, more of a Q&A. So he's answering. It's like the whole intent was ask
Yeah,
questions, 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 and questions. That's not what
yeah.
coaching is. Okay, coaching is not about asking questions.
Okay.
Okay, coaching is far, far more than that. Yes, coaching is one of the ways where you are getting your coachee to reflect upon, to challenge, to let him think, let him do deep introspect. But that's just one of the ways. One of the most powerful question that I found is the silence.
Mm.
Okay, there cannot be more powerful question than that. Okay, now, but then for that question to work, you need to help the coachee to reach to those depths where that silence becomes a question for him or her. That stage needs to be reached. And it's so there are a lot of things that happens in the coaching, okay, which goes beyond just asking questions, okay, which is it's like you're dancing with a coachee, so in
Right.
absolutely a sync. So it's not that you have to lead or do anything, you have to just be in the flow, but then ensure that the way the flow is happening, it's going in a particular direction, so you are providing the right, uh, I would say, the support systems there, so that the flow happens, but the
Hmm.
flow does not become into a tsunami which
Right.
destroys a community.
Right.
Okay, it still remains the flow in a particular direction and something which is very, very impactful. And
Mm.
that needs to happen. So which goes far, far way beyond than just asking questions. I would say coaching is not a Q&A. Ask
Coaching is
question, get
definitely coaching is definitely not a Q&A. It's really not just about asking one question after the other. It's really about asking very, very mindful questions, and and those questions have to be such that can really help the person reflect a lot on what they are doing. So, like you said, before you learned coaching, it was a lot about just about Q&A, and when you learned coaching, you understood that it is not a set of Q&As. It's a lot about silence, and it is a whole lot more and other than set of Q&As. What specifically caught your attention before you joined InnerMost Shift Coaching and during the session?
okay.
Let me put it
Prosperity.
this way: what made you join InnerMost Shift Coaching first?
Okay. To some extent, I answered that earlier for you that I came from a mentoring background. I used to do mentoring a lot,
Yeah.
career mentoring. And I found mentoring to work up to a limit.
Yes.
Okay. Mentoring is, we all know that it's your downloading. Okay. It's like somebody's on the top is downloading the experiences and is telling, telling, telling.
Mm.
Coaching, there is no telling.
Yes.
Okay. So that's
So,
something.
why
Yeah.
Alpha Stars? I appreciate the fact that you're saying that from mentoring you shifted to coaching and you understood that there is something different in coaching. So, why? What made you choose Alpha Stars, and why did you join InnerMost Shift Coaching?
Sure. Like many coaches, I did my own research about with different institutes that are providing that were providing the coaching, are still providing the coach training programs, I would say. Let me put it this way.
Hmm.
Now, I did my own research with a lot of institutes in India as well as overseas institutes, especially the one those are present in Middle East. So I
Right.
spoke to quite a few of them.
Hmm.
Now, one thing that really pulled me towards AlphaStar, especially to InnerMost Shift, was that it was not about the theoretical aspects, just, and we all are looking for, I mean, it's an ICF. We are looking in accreditation from ICF. So there are competencies of ICS, there are ethics. So the one of the biggest difference was competencies are important because that's where you understand in terms of the nuances, then some of the critical aspects that really needs to be taken care of.
Hmm.
But then the coaching as a whole, as a coaching for the being, it's like in totality.
Hmm.
What I found that the way Alpha Star was approaching coaching was not just restricted to spending hours and hours on mugging up the competencies. So, the 2.3. No, the focus was not on that. The focus was on making us appreciate what the competencies are all about, what the code of ethics is all about, appreciating the reasons why they are. They're not mugging those up,
Right.
spending
Right.
sessions and sessions only on the competencies and ethics. But then actually, after once we have understood the importance of those, to actually see them in action and come to the hands on practice, going into the, as I keep on saying, the fabric of coaching,
Hmm.
to take us to depth level and not a superficial, or not just leaving us at a level where it is only theoretical about what ICF is looking at. This is a way to pass the exam, because at our age it's not about passing an exam.
Absolutely.
The focus is not on exam. Yeah, exam happens. Yes, there is an anxiety everybody has about, but that's all. Like, I'll give you an example. So, uh, I shared with you that I'm quite happy with astrology. That's one of the areas for me, which we use astrology in our profiling also. When we do a
Hmm.
profiling, so we've created a profiling system in Crescon Prosperity, which combines the finding of different sources, psychometric tools with astrology, birth charts. So even when I was learning about astrology, it was not about passing a test.
Absolutely.
It was more about understanding the strengths, the nuances. So, and that's what I found AlphaStar doing a brilliant job. I mean, I have no words to describe that, and not because you are from AlphaStar and we are channel of AlphaStar. So I think we've reached a stage. I really don't need to say all this if I don't mean it. I don't need to do that. But genuinely, it was something which uh, stuck me. Like, I'll be open to you. So I had signed up initially only for the few modules. I did not sign up for everything because I was, yeah, I the vibes were positive, but then I had not seen it in action. And after a couple of sessions, I was done. I said, I'm not going anywhere. This is the case. Okay, because the focus is on making us aware, understand the nuances of coaching, not in terms of passing an exam or getting a certification.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's a huge, huge, huge difference. Yeah.
Right.
And I'll take another minute. You reminded me of something. My daughter, uh, when they were learning piano, so we had a teacher whose only focus was to teach them a couple of pieces so that they can pass the exam. And then there was a teacher. So that teacher was there for some time. Then we changed the teacher. The next teacher came, whose intent was not on making my daughter pass the exam, but for her to appreciate the music.
Absolutely.
And once you start appreciating something, passing an exam is so trivial.
I'm so glad you put it that way. It's like when you achieve when you achieve a standard in something, not because you have to pass an exam, but you truly want to become good at that thing and you truly love that thing, then the exam will automatically happen. It's like you don't need the certificate to prove it, or neither do you need to be scared of the certificate. So yeah,
I'll
that's
have to say
yeah,
something here, Prosperity.
yes.
When I was taking my exam, and before the exam, I've heard of enough of horror stories about the exam. It's a
Okay.
4 hours or 3 hours of exam you'll have. It's very boring. You are done with 30-35 minutes, then you don't know what to do. Okay, and I heard enough of stories. And
Okay. I'm
Prosperity.
glad I never heard them before I took the exam.
So I heard those, and believe me, I heard those not from one, but
Mhm.
many coaches. Maybe during your time there were not that many number of coaches. So during Corona, enough number of coaches got created. So, which I call them Corona coaches.
Yeah.
So
I
nothing better to do coaching, to get
yeah.
become a coach, because you have nothing better, nothing else to do. So go and actually do a coach training program, become a coach. It's very easy to earn money. So okay. So anyway, let's come back. So when I was taking the exam, Prosperity, uh, I started with, I had this thing, 30-35 minutes, all the questions will be done, and I'm sitting there bored. And when I started taking the exam, What an experience I had. I did not even realize when the 3 hours were over. Because the questions that, if you read the questions, if you visualize, if what in a real scenario, if you have, if such a question comes, such a situation comes in, how you're going to tackle that. And then you try looking at each and every option. It's not that the options were like you say, okay, this is an obvious answer. No. Think about it. What makes that as an answer? What happens if you use the other track where it would have taken the coachee to? So it was each and every question that you try to answer there, if you try to just link it with the real life scenario, with what's really happening, and you have so much of fun. It's not boring, it's fun.
Yes, it is. In fact, that's what I keep telling everyone, that if you have done your coaching, if you have really just gone back and reflected on your coaching, the exam will automatically happen. So don't worry about it. Yeah, it takes time and everything else, but it will happen. So it's not something to be scared of. But like you said, different people have different levels of anxiety, and somehow it's inbuilt on our system as well. The moment the word exam comes, it kind of makes us like, oh my God, there is something that I need to pass. So that's that's different ways different people would handle it, right? So tell me this, Anish, like you've mentioned a lot about what you have learned and how you really appreciate InnerMost Shift coaching and the way it is being taught, not just as a set of competencies, but as a method, and more than a method, as in the essence of coaching is what is really being taught over here. Uh, from your own life and the life experiences that you have,
Mhm.
the company that you are building in Crescon and making people conscious of growth, how does
Correct.
the value of InnerMost Shift coaching align with your personal and professional values?
Let's look at the values of Crescon. Three values: prosperity. Number one, confidentiality.
Mm,
Number two, accountability. Number three, trustworthiness.
mhm,
Okay. Now, number two, confidentiality, which goes without saying, which is for any coach or any coaching firm, true to its essence, would never, ever, ever compromise on the confidentiality. The second value, accountability, is where I found a lot of synergy with the AlphaStar.
mhm.
The trainers, they feel themselves accountable for each and every training. And I have seen personally the effort, pains that Sri Ma'am, Satsar, and you. I mean, the way that you would be there, you would be every minute, every doubt that you'd be clearing. It's like the accountability is very high. Same way in Crescon Prosperity, accountability is paramount. To the extent prosperity, we don't charge by session.
Right.
Okay, we charge by outcome. All our commercials, everything is defined by outcome. It's not the question of what effort we have put in. So if somebody has a problem who have come to us and we say, you know what, I have done my bit, I have put in all my effort, maybe the problem lies at your end because you couldn't change yourself. Damn it, that's the reason why in the first place he came to us, because there is a problem. And turn around and say that the change has happened because you have a problem. That means
Right.
something is wrong at our end. Either we have not prepared ourselves to that extent, we are not trained to that extent, something's got missed at our end. We hold ourselves accountable. We say, fine, if the change has not happened, we have no right to take any money from you. What right do I have? I cannot return your time,
Mhm.
but I can return your money. If I don't hold myself accountable to every person who comes to Crescon, it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Okay. And I see the same value in AlphaStar. Each one of you feel accountable. It's not just for the sake of tick in the box that the training has happened, the number of hours has been done. You know what? Done. Boom. Here you go. No. What has that resulted into? People are not coming to AlphaStar for a tick in the box in terms of getting a certificate that the training number of training hours has been done. They can go and apply for whatever accreditation they are looking for. No, they're coming so that they actually learn, understand the nuances of coaching. And that's the approach that I have seen AlphaStar has. They feel accountable. Number three, trustworthiness. Whatever that you say is backed up by a reference or by experience, by a live experience, not a theoretical experience. Everything happens in Crescon. There are certifications, there are experience. Every person, every coach in Crescon, whomsoever comes on board, goes through a very detailed 6 to 7 days of evaluation process before he comes on board. There are profilings that happen. There are accreditations we go through. There are a lot of things that we go through before we take anybody on board. Because if somebody is representing Crescon, that trust needs to be there in the eyes of the coachee that they're going to get the best. And same thing I see in AlphaStar. It's not about putting 20, 30 coaches, which you could easily do. What's the need of Satsar or Sri ma'am themselves or you, all three of you, doing your coaching personally? There's no need. You can hire 10 different coaches and get them to do the job. You can start a franchise model and make a lot of money. Coaching is one of the business right now in India. But that's not how you look at it. It's not business. Same way for
Absolutely.
Crescon, coaching is not business that for the here that, you know what, come here, we'll sign up. Prosperity, many a times, I mean, our acceptance rate of a coachee is hardly 50%.
Mhm.
Coachee. We
Yeah,
say no. We say we can't make a difference in your life. This is not what we can help you with. I'm sorry. Because I have no right to waste someone else's time. I can waste my own time, but not someone else's time.
absolutely.
And I see the same values in AlphaStar. The way that you people approach coaching in terms of feeling accountability, being accountable, as well as if you come to AlphaStar, the trust is there. And then you know it.
Absolutely. I think, in all honesty, and in all humbleness, I would have to say that some of these values, while I thought I always had, I think it just grew in me being in Alpha Stars. The way, and a lot of times I hear people say that, Siri tells somebody to join the course, and she says them to join a course number of times. Being in the back end, I've also seen her telling people that no, this course is not good for you, so you have to do something different. So that really is paramount. It really makes it really makes me believe also that the job is so honestly being done. And there have been times when I've told Satsar, okay, it's been enough, we have explained number of times, but he has held me accountable and has really pushed me, and he has inculcated this in me, and continues to do so. That no, if the person has not understood, it's our job to make him understand. And even if we have to take the class 3 or 4 or 5 times, we have to do it, because it's a like the first time I came to the training, and he said, imparting education is something, not a business, but it is our promise to our teachers, to our masters. And that's the core value. So thank you, Anish. Thank you for putting it so beautifully. It really took me back to all the times that I have shared, and how I have grown as well in these values. Um,
Yeah. You know what, prosperity, in my whatever little experience that I have, uh, over the last years, whether in my corporate work or what I'm currently doing, I have realized the importance of values in life. Okay. And I have faltered many times, many times. And every time that I faltered on my value, I've learned a big lesson. And every time that I have now, for years now, I have been so faithful to my values and I'm seeing the change happening. And I've realized every life you need to have something that you need to stand up to. And that's something because value becomes your that strength, that conviction, the power to say no. Okay, if it is not coming to your value, it gives you that energy, gives you that power, give you that conviction to say no. It's not easy to say no to business, believe me. And when you're struggling, when you're
Yes,
starting something, it's like, yeah, come. I'm gonna do coaching for everything, anything. Because why? Because yeah, I'm struggling. So, and then we justify to ourselves, you know what? I'll consider it as an experience. No, it doesn't work because for the sake of your experience, you cannot compromise on your coach's work. He's coming to you for a problem. If you cannot do something, don't take on the coachee on board just for the sake of a practice. You know, I've got a life practice.
yeah,
He's not a scapegoat here. He's come to you for a genuine reason. Appreciate that, understand that, and you can't help him, and we can't help everyone. Let's be clear.
absolutely, absolutely,
Say no. With folded hands, say no. Be true to your value. Be true. Be accountable.
absolutely. I think the other way is also, if you are not, if you find yourself that you are not at the level where you can take a new client, or you cannot take a client um, honestly, and do justice to the client. A lot of times we do say that please take mentoring as well. So mentoring also becomes, mentoring for coaches or supervision for coaches is also so important, so that coaches themselves can impart the true essence to their client. So that's something that comes into picture as well, because as a coach we continuously need to grow as well. So that what changes us all the time, right? uh,
Absolutely.
so what do you think, like, I'll just ask you one last question before we leave.
Yeah.
What has been your experience about the educators, the Sat and Siri Khalsa, who have developed the entire coaching module, and like you said, when imparting also they were so true.
Absolutely.
What has been your more deepest impact that they have left on you?
You know, you've taken me back to those interactions that we had with Satsar Siri ma'am. You know, you come across certain people who emanates energy, who emanates that serenity. Okay, and these two people are those where you actually could see the divinity manifested. All you need to do is just be around. You don't need to say a word and just experience. So, even during the conversations that we had, every conversation was, you could see the the truthfulness, uh, the way it would flow. It was not something which was made up. It was absolutely true in a true sense. And if someone is true, there is जो सच कहते हैं सच, and it has its own aura, and that's what I experienced. It's something which is very, very dear to me, very close to my heart. I never looked at them as a trainer or a coach or anything. I just looked at both of them as two divine beings. They, and they're on a mission, they're on a purpose here.
Mhm,
Okay. Their driving forces are very different.
mhm.
It's ain't business. It's something beyond that. And that's what I experienced. I have nothing
So
more
what?
to say than this.
um, your, your words really, your words really are making me go very, very quiet. um, just being thankful, you know, to have this opportunity to work and not just work. I mean, I'm not just working with them, but to be a part of them is phenomenal. So thank you so much. Just making, sometimes you just realize when other people are speaking the truth. So thank you so much for it. Um, how would you say anything else that you would want to add before we close? And of course, in the end, I would also want you to share your details so that anyone can who wants can contact you.
Uh, Prosperity, no, I have nothing left to say. I think
Yes.
we've covered or we have spoken about all what really
Mhm.
matters.
Mhm.
Okay, now anything to add, this would be just an add-on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, how would anyone contact you if they want to understand more from you about what you do
Yeah,
to become a legend?
yeah, and there are many, many people that we are, and we've been lucky. I would say, we've been blessed to be working with a lot of leaders, a lot of business owners, family businesses, executive leaders whom we are working with on their transformative journey from a leader to a legend. We are already doing that with
Mhm.
quite a few. So
Yeah.
our website is crescon.com. Where should I put it somewhere?
I'm just putting it Krescon, right?
Krescon.com,
Mhm.
crescon.com. My number is 98995
Mm, 98115.
98995 00554. 98995
Mhm.
00554.
Okay.
Or simply mail me at anish@crescon.com, anish at crescon.com. That's my email ID.
Okay. Done.
I
So
appreciate
all
that,
of
Pras.
our viewers have your contact details if they want to contact you, right? Thank you so much for being over here and speaking from your heart about everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're a great host, Prosperity. You made me speak a lot of things. So kudos to you. So I really enjoyed every moment of it. And I wish you all the best for your show here. And so looking forward to interact again later.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Prosperity. Thanks for having me.